Hey everybody, we are live and we're talking about something just for about 15 minutes or so. I'm going to do a follow up, but we're talking about Las Vegas because we happen to see Stephen Campbell, who has this channel Not Leaving Las Vegas, talk about once again what he sees as the downfall of Las Vegas, and that seems to have a permanent connotation to it. In other words, it's downfall, it's never coming back, and that's it. So I disagree with that, and I wanted to point out that something can be done here. But first of all, the latest news, as you know, right here is this: Las Vegas sees 180,000 fewer visitors as tourism decline continues. And this article is in the Las Vegas Sun, as you can see, May 28th, which was just Wednesday of last week. And this is by Kyle Chouinard, and it reads, Las Vegas welcomed fewer visitors in April, with tourism dropping 5.1% year over year, in other words, between 2025 and 2024, despite hosting a successful WrestleMania event. The Las Vegas Visitors and Convention Bureau Authority reported Thursday. That should be the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. That's where I got tripped up, folks. It's LVCVA. Now, the city saw approximately 180,000 fewer visitors during the month, marking the fourth straight month that visitation has dipped in comparison to 2024, hence, year over year, right? In March of 2025, there was a 7.8% decline in visitors from 2024. However, the Las Vegas Sun reports the business travel sector performed well in April of 2025 as convention attendance surged 13.9% compared to 2024. A series of conventions are coming back to Las Vegas after being located elsewhere last year are the International Sign Expo, the Car Wash Show, and a meeting of the American Urological Association. All those were the difference, according to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority's executive summary. A combined 46,000 people came to Las Vegas, or basically went to those events. But the Las Vegas Sun reports the high-performing events were counterbalanced by consumer uncertainty with evolving federal policies. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority wrote, indirectly referencing to a lull in tourism as visitors from around the country and the world stay at home because of uncertainty created by President Trump's trade war. Gaming revenue also fell, with the Strip taking the brunt of the hit. The corridor saw a 2.9% drop, worth $19 million last month, according to the authority. The authority was also projecting a 5% decline in room tax revenue for the next fiscal year. And Las Vegas Commission and Visitors Authority President Stephen Hill previously called the projected decrease a conservative approach in recognition that there's some uproar. And that's where the article ends. And I saw this and I was reminded and of another report long before this one that had President Trump in his first term entertaining, if you will, the hospitality executives. And here is that bit of news right here. Hospitality CEOs meet with President Trump. You can see it right here. Hospitality CEOs meet with President Trump to advocate reauthorization of Brand USA program, visa application process improvements. This was May 13th of 2019. And this was actually before the pandemic. And it basically amounted to the White House focusing on ways the Trump administration and private industry can work together to achieve travel-related economic growth. And they met again. You can see there's actually a small little picture here of all the hospitality CEOs, and it says a large photo. So, and they took out that page. It says, oops, that page can't be found. But I can read to you that among the CEOs that participated in the meeting were former Real Estate Roundtable Chairman Chris Nessett of the Hilton, along with Eli Malouf, of the Malouf family of the Intercontinental Hotels Group, Patrick Pacious of Choice Hotels International, and James Ricciolio of Host Hotels and Resorts Incorporated. It never ceases to amaze me how there are so many women working in the hospitality industry, but then the people at the top who are in the charge are generally men. At any rate, the visit, the U.S. coalition, which includes the roundtable, was urging Congress at the time to reauthorize something called Brand USA. And that's the nation's tourism marketing program, which is not supported by taxpayer dollars, but through fees on foreign visitors who do not require a visa when entering the United States. Legislation is needed to authorize the program beyond 2020 and ensure visitor fees authorized for collection from 2021 to 2027 will not be diverted to the Treasury Department as currently scheduled. And it's not clear what happened to that at all. So they had a panel discussion, and then when the pandemic hit, there was another round of meetings with the hotel hospitality executives at the White House, this time also with another group representing entertainment and sports, which included Commissioner Tagliabue, Patriots owner Bob Kraft, and Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, among others. And yet out of all that, nothing came. Now some would say, well, we got the PPP loan program, but that's the problem. It was a loan, and it should never have been a loan. It should have been a grant, because it's caused a lot of damage to a lot of people, like in the Oakland case, the alley, where Jackie Simpkins is finding it hard to get a loan because crime in Oakland, arguably a pandemic caused crime that's just still lingering, has caused her property's value to be reduced by $1 million. Now, coming back to this situation with Las Vegas, the question is, okay, what can be done? And this is where I disagree with my friend Stephen Campbell. There's no such thing as a free market. Markets are governed and influenced by governments. For example, what we're talking about here, we're talking about how Las Vegas has been impacted by government action, tariffs. That's this year, 2025. In 2019, we talked about, hey, how can government help by reviving Brand USA? And then there's something else we haven't talked about yet. We're going to talk about it right now. Las Vegas has become prohibitively expensive. And the resort fees, which used to be hidden, thank God, after the 2nd of May of this year, you can't hide them anymore. But it doesn't mean they've come down. And so room prices are still, for large events like EDC and others, in a number of cases, out the door. If it is true that 2/3 of the country is living paycheck to paycheck, then you don't basically try to soak them and price gouge them in the middle of what is obviously an economic investment problem. We have businesses spending their money offshore. Trump's trying to get them back through tariffs when he really should be applying a more assistive approach in terms of subsidies, a carrot and stick approach, saying, hey, look, if you move back, we will help you by subsidy. And this tariff way isn't working at all, because it's hurting Las Vegas. So first of all, what has to be done is that Las Vegas and other major hospitality cities have to be given some sort of blue check mark that basically takes them out of being impacted by tariffs. And that's the first step. That has to be job number one. Put the brakes on, because they're getting hurt. Second, Trump needs to follow through on his bailout promise and actually bail out Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a city that is too big to be allowed to fail. It has too many impacts in the case of a homeless problem that has already gotten really, really bad there. It needs a major league boost. It's not the first time that the federal government has reached out and bailed out whole cities, and certainly the federal government has reached out and bailed out corporations like Chrysler, and that was very successful. So Las Vegas needs that boost, because in boosting Las Vegas, we rediscovered how effective economic development can be, business assistance. And that's really what we're talking about here, but on a larger scale. Because Trump is not assisting businesses in America, he's actually damaging them. Causing tourists who already do not have a lot of money to be encouraged to stay at home because of these tariffs that are changing seemingly every day isn't helping anyone. And I might add that the tariff situation has actually worsened our trade deficit. That's right. You've been told, well, the trade deficit is improved. No, it hasn't. It hasn't at all. The trade deficit actually got worse, much worse. And someone says, well, it might, narrow and all this stuff, right? But if you take a look of what I'm about to show you, Bureau of Labor Statistics data gives you the real skinny on what the trade deficit looks like as a whole. All right, I'm going to show it to you right now, and what's going on. And this was for March. So let me put this up right now so you can see it in the window. And thank you for watching. Here is the actual impact of the trade deficit according to Bureau of Economic Analysis. And this, it shows that the U.S. monthly international trade deficit increased in March of this year, 2025, according to U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis and U.S. Census. The deficit increased from $132.2 billion in February, revised to $140 billion in March, as imports increased more than exports. The goods deficit increased $16.5 billion, in March to $163.5 billion. And the services surplus decreased by $800 million in March to $23 billion. But right over here, you can see the chart. This is 3-month moving average. See how it's, and this is the monthly deficit. See how it's skyrocketed? All right. This is what you don't hear in the news. This is what has happened. It's skyrocketed here. It's just really, and so we're not being told the truth about it. And if you don't get the truth out about what's happening here, you can't get better. And these are all because of the Trump tariffs. And then on top of that, Trump wants to decrease spending. And one thing that everybody needs to keep in mind is that economic growth, GDP, is equal to C plus I plus G plus what's called NE, which are net exports. And this is what this looks like right here. All right. GDP equals C plus I plus G plus NE, which are net exports. Now, what's the G? The G is one thing. G equals government spending. G equals government spending. So if G equals government spending right here, if G equals government spending right here, then what happens if you increase government spending? You increase GDP. And if you increase GDP, what does that mean? It means a net increase in economic growth from quarter to quarter. That's what you're looking at. That's what happens. So for President Trump to bring in Elon Musk and say that he's going to cut unnecessary spending, well, first of all, by whose measure is it truly unnecessary? And second, I have some real questions about the president giving a portion of our spending pattern or decisions about them to someone who spends a reportedly considerable amount of his time doing drugs, like, for example, ecstasy. So my point is, we're at the mercy, because of the president, of someone, and a Congress that has let him do this, because the Congress really has control of the purse, but of someone who's been out there doing drugs and is not in his right mind. And yet people will believe him because he is Elon Musk. Well, not everybody. I don't. And neither do a lot of you. So this is wrong. Our country is not being ran the way it needs to achieve economic growth, to maintain our vaunted standard of living. We have a spending bill out there that aims to cut aid to people. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret sauce of American economic success is in our entitlement programs. Why? Because they form the bed that catches anyone who economically falls, so they can quickly recover, regain their financial footing, and then be in the right place at the right time to gain that great job, or those great casino winnings, or inheritance, or a raise, or a new client that pays them a humongous amount of money, whatever combination, they would be in a position to do that. And all of those actions spur economic growth and more. So my point is, if you allow someone to fall and you don't have a catch, a way of helping them, tax credits, subsidies, no cost for health care, aid where it matters the most to people who have suddenly fallen on negative fortunes, our system has always allowed them help to come back. That's the American empathy system. Yeah, I said empathy because that's really what it is. R.D. Moss, hey R.D., he says, I see news about tourism being dramatically down in Vegas. It's 3%. Yeah, hey R.D., you just came in, and thanks. Yeah, I actually showed this, and I'll this graphic, and I'll show it again right here, that where Las Vegas had lost 180,000 fewer visitors, as you can see here, right? In April of this year, over last year, as tourism decline continues. And this is all because of the tariff situation. But it's also because Las Vegas has priced itself out. Now, there are organizations, and already says here, convention visitors business is up. Right, convention business is up, but that's only a part of the whole, because what you want is the casual tourist that says, hey, let's go to Las Vegas to see a show, or to eat at a restaurant, or to gamble, or, all the number of things that people, or to party, have gone to Las Vegas to do historically and today. But when you have most of the country living paycheck to paycheck, and then the tariffs leading to the jacking up of prices, and prices being already high before the tariff situation. And remember, Trump promised that he would stop inflation. He would bring it back in to manageable areas on the campaign trail. And then he gets in and completely forgets about it and makes decisions that on the whole are so damaging that the number of people who assert, including his former communications director Anthony Scaramucci, that he's actually working at the behest of Vladimir Putin, who has, quote, something on him because reportedly this did actually happen, that when Trump won the election in Russia, they were celebrating, and they're showing pictures of his wife Melania when she was very young, not wearing any or intimate clothes. So that's a big problem, all right? The United States should never be subjected to situations like that. We have too many people whose very lives are at stake and are being impacted by these decisions and these actions. They've got to stop. And I'm simply saying that Trump can turn it around, and whatever he owes to Vladimir Putin, if that indeed is the case, he needs to just fess it up to the American people and change. And that's it. And so RD says, Canada is going through very difficult times, and they're not coming for economic and political reasons, a large portion. Yeah, you may not know this, I should broadcast this, but I will now. The Zenny 62 Media is on the press list of the the Canadian Prime Minister, and has been since PM Trudeau was in. So we're on the Canadian Prime Minister's press list. We're on the UK Prime Minister's press list. We're on the press list of the European Union as well. So we get most of it. I say most of it because there are other press lists I want to be on, and I've tested some of them come in different languages other than English, and I prefer an automatic translation. That, and so I'm still working through that. But I digress. My point is, yeah, I'm getting a great perspective. My company's getting a fantastic perspective of what's going on. We really are. And so, but my point is that Trump owes Las Vegas a bailout. Now, for those of you saying, wouldn't that just benefit Trump hotels, international hotels? Yeah. I mean, look, he's an international business person who has properties, 100 properties, and 100 companies, actually, as I understand it, all over the world. That's going to happen. But it doesn't mean that we should stop aid to American business because it helps the president. There's something about that just quite illogical. I also want to give a shout out to an organization that is actually really doing its part to help Las Vegas come back, because that's not the only problem, as you know, folks, that I wanted to show you something else, that another bit of news that I believe will have a great impact on Las Vegas visitor rates, and it was done by a facility that needed to do it, and finally did bite the bullet and do it, and I think it's going to go very well for them. I really do. And that is this, and I think it should be permanent. Unfortunately, it is for a limited time. But let me show you what it is right here. And that is all of here. Resorts World is offering free self-parking for all guests from May 30th, the end of this month, starting May 30th, starting today, to August 28th, 2025. The offer applies to both guests and hotel parking garages on the property, according to a post on their Twitter page. And so, that's a big deal, folks. That's a big deal. And yeah, RD Marsh says, Resorts World, as RD notes here, Resorts World just started offering free parking. Big business is starting to understand they need to bring value. When the casinos start to feel slow, they start to stay here, play here stuff. Well, yeah, but also it's a logical decision to make, because, look, if people stop visiting, right, because your prices are high, what do? You lower your prices to get them back. But I believe, however, that I want to see what happens when football season starts. There's some people who say that football season last year didn't really, bring home the bacon. But if the Raiders start winning, I believe that will change. It will bring more people in to see different games because the Raiders will be the hot ticket, and that will bode well for Las Vegas in terms of visitation rates, and do a really great job of helping to add some numbers that in a little bit of a way turn around the situation, if not all the way. We'll see. I'm not going to say that. And I think that when the A's ballpark is finished, it will go through a 3-year novelty period, along with the new Hard Rock Hotel, which will be opened about the same time with the Guitar Hotel. Those two entities alone will realize an amazing turnaround, because people will just simply fly in to see those buildings, and that's another big deal. And yeah, thanks. Yeah, RD, you and I were on the same mind, of the same mind. And RD says the strip is still packed. The WWE just announced they will be back in 2026, which is great. And also CES Las Vegas is coming up again. Hasn't left Las Vegas. Still coming there for 2026. And by the way, speaking of CES Las Vegas, I highly encourage everybody to visit our CES Las Vegas news page, CESLasVegasNews.com, and check it out. We've got a lot of Las Vegas news and views and even news about other Las Vegas related issues, and a lot of CES news too, where in this example I'm about to show you, someone calls Sphere the most powerful display on Earth. Let me show you that real quick here. And that's very proud of this site that I built, and it is right here, where right there. See that? See, it says that's it. I'm not going to show the video for copyright reasons, but it's the most powerful display on Earth. If you go down there, you can actually click here and watch the video. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to click on it. But she's talking about it's the most powerful display on Earth, right? So we have a number of items of content. They automatically come from YouTube to our CESLasVegasNews.com page about CES, Las Vegas, and tech. That's what it is. So you can see Samsung transparent micro LED display at CES 2024 here. And we have more. The truth about micro LED as well. We've got a lot of news here. So check out CE and bookmark CESLasVegasNews.com. It's automatically updated news. It really is. So we have in just 10 minutes the Knicks game. Knicks at the Pacers coming up, and we're going to get ready for that. RD, hey, thank you very much. And by the way, folks, a thumbs up if you haven't subscribed before. Please subscribe. We also could use your donations monetarily. If you want to give a $2 super chat, that's fantastic. We have a membership club, and that membership club will feature news and interviews you can't get anywhere else, even on our standard stream, with special guests you won't meet unless you're a member. All right, so join RD and others. Join RD. I'll give you a special discount if you join. I'll give you for your contributions to this point. So thank you all, everybody, and that's 28 minutes. Subscribe to Zenny62, and we'll see you. And that ends the stream. Again, thank you so much.